Well, this is a big development that has now taken place just hours before the keynote address. It has now come out as a statement from the Gates Foundation that Bill Gates will be skipping the keynote address at the India AI Summit amid the Epstein files row. Bill Gates will now not be delivering the keynote address at the India AI Impact Summit, as the Gates Foundation says, amid a row over his name that seems to figure in the infamous Epstein files. And the Gates Foundation, the philanthropic organization, has now given out a statement amid a row over the Microsoft co-founder's name there, where the Gates Foundation, however, will now be represented by Ankur, who is the president of the Africa and India offices, and who will be speaking later today at the summit in New Delhi. And this has been what the statement has now been released on part of Gates Foundation, because they say, and this is a very critical first line, Madhav, after careful consideration and to ensure that the focus remains on the AI Summit's key priorities, Mr. Gates will not be delivering his keynote address. As Pragya and Rishabh are also connected with us, Madhav, you can take it from here, because this seems to be the very focus here. Was there pressure on the Gates Foundation, or they rather realized that the focus should rather be on AI and the Impact Summit that India is hosting?
Well, you know, what else could take the focus away from the AI Summit if it is not the recent controversy that Mr. Bill Gates has been involved with as far as the Epstein files and the allegations that are contained therein are concerned, because they are very, very serious and heinous charges that Jeffrey Epstein has faced, and the fact that Mr. Gates was in close contact with such an individual already has raised many eyebrows. Now, the fact is that Mr. Gates has also clarified in several interviews, but the fact that there are millions of such emails, and many of which are only coming to the fore day by day, raises some serious questions. There are questions related to not just what transpired as far as the abuse of underage minors there is concerned, but there are also serious questions about all the talk surrounding the pandemic that was taking place in 2015 and references to it, which is leading many to ask questions about what was really the role of Mr. Bill Gates, because the pandemic happened about 4 to 5 years later. In 2020 and 2021, what really was then the context of this entire discussion surrounding the pandemic before that? So there are many, many questions that are facing Mr. Bill Gates. And in the peak of this, remember that there is no meeting with either the ministers or the Prime Minister that is scheduled for Bill Gates, something that has never happened in any of his trips to India in recent years. There's also the fact that his name was removed from the AI Impact Summit website, his photograph removed from that, and he was only scheduled to address one particular session that was at 11:50. Close to 3 hours before that, the BMGF has issued a statement saying that someone else will be representing the foundation and not Mr. Bill Gates. Now, there's also the fact that the Prime Minister, in any case, was scheduled with other leaders to address the first session, the inaugural session today, that is to take place in about a few minutes from now. 9:15 is the time when that family photograph is scheduled to take place, 11 minutes from now. And soon after that, we'll be seeing speeches of all the world leaders, including French President Macron, as well as UN Secretary General and other top leaders, including that from Spain and several other countries who are currently gathered in the national capital. Bill Gates was scheduled to attend another session where he was supposed to speak at 11:50, at which time the Prime Minister and other world leaders would have been part of the expo of the AI Impact Summit and would not have been present inside over here. So clearly, of course, Bill Gates' presence inside the summit was anyway supposed to happen without the presence of other top leaders as far as the government of India is concerned. And thereby, many, many questions about whether the government was attempting to distance from Bill Gates, and those clear messages that have been given out were a snub. Remember, even when he went to Mumbai, there was no official photo opportunity with any of the political leaders. So very many questions about whether Bill Gates has been snubbed by the government, and in fact that snub is what has led him to pull out as far as participating in today's conference is concerned. Let me quickly bring in my colleagues Rishabh and Pragya, who are also joining us at this moment. Pragya, a few days ago there was a controversy surrounding whether Bill Gates would participate. At that point of time, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation had come out to say that he is very much going to participate at 11:50 today. That is, of course, he's scheduled to be a speaker, and his name was part of the online schedule as well for the past 48 hours. What has happened in these past 48 hours that has changed things so drastically? Are there fresh allegations that have come in, Pragya, that have led to Bill Gates to change his mind as far as participation in the AI Summit is concerned?
been, attack on the government on various fronts as far as Mr. Bill Gates is concerned. And in fact, there are many new emails and chats that have come online about the Bill Gates and the involvement in Epstein files as well. You are absolutely right on that count. In fact, this is the main charge, and in fact government of India never wanted any of the controversy, and this summit is bigger than any of that and any of the individual that is also coming and participating in this. And this is the exact reason why there must have been some feelers from the government when the name, you remember when the first time this controversy came, there was no name of Mr. Bill Gates as speaker, but then and also the photo of the Bill Gates is also not there. In fact, when he went to Mumbai, there was no photograph that was released of the meeting of Bill Gates with the government, heads. And in fact, this is also one of the indications. And Mr. Bill Gates and the foundation must have got the feelers from the government that it is better if he does not come to this particular summit. And this is probably the reason why, just a few hours away from him speaking at the summit, this statement has come that the focus needs to be on AI summit and not on any other issue. And the government has realized it also, after the Galgotia controversy. Madhav, there had been a statement by Secretary Meti and also the minister that, this summit is bigger than, and the vast, the kind of mammoth bandwidth that this summit has and the goal it has, India being placed as one of the superpowers in AI sector. It is bigger than any individual, and this is probably the reason why Bill Gates is not, coming. And the government of India is okay with that also, because there are many world leaders, many industry experts and top leaders that have come. Epstein file is one issue that they would want to keep it away from, particularly this AI summit, because this AI summit speaks about happiness of all and welfare of people. This is a larger goal towards the betterment of humankind, and this is probably the reason why this decision must have been taken, Madhav.
Absolutely. And in fact, the big question is, Rishabh, that there was suspense to the last minute. Bill Gates was hopeful of attending this summit. He actually traveled to the national capital and is at a 5-star hotel in the national capital, is what we understand. Till the very last minute, he was hopeful of, him participating in the AI summit. The big question is, what is it that changed his mind at the very last minute? And is there something that was on? Discussions were, of course, on as far as Bill Gates' participation is concerned. But at the very last minute, what changed things? What was the tipping point is a question that many would be asking. Rishabh.
Well, definitely, Madhav, if we see around 12:53 p.m. yesterday, Bill Gates Foundation had posted that Bill Gates is attending the AI summit. He will be delivering his keynote address as scheduled. This is 12:53 p.m. yesterday. In 22 hours, things change, and the same account now says that after quote-unquote careful consideration, he will not be speaking at the summit and he would not be delivering the keynote address. Within 22 hours, looks like Gates Foundation was still negotiating with Government of India that Bill Gates should be allowed to be speaking at the summit. And looks like plugs were finally pulled out by many within the Government of India setup, and especially as our senior colleague Pragya was also pointing out, that after what happened with the Galgotia University controversy in last 24 hours, government does not want to take any further chance, and it is the government who have finally pulled out the plug that he would not come at the summit. We have seen that there hasn't been and you were mentioning it correct, that this is very rare that Bill Gates is in Delhi or in India and he hasn't met for that matter, the health minister or other ministers, because Bill Gates Foundation have invested a lot in infrastructure when it comes to social infrastructure in India. And whenever he is in Delhi, there are always meetings. Bill Gates was at the parliament also during his last meeting to meet Mr. Nadda, the health minister. This time around, no central minister has given him time, or there is no scheduled meeting for that matter as well. Now I'm just looking at the tweet that has been done, and if I'll ask my camera person Sanjeev to show this. Initially, you were able to comment on this very tweet that the Gates Foundation has put out about him not speaking at the AI summit, but now they have changed the security settings as well, and no one can reply to this tweet as well. There were certain tweets that did not go down well.
Engagement settings have been changed, which is leading to many to ask why exactly that's the case. And I believe my colleague Amita has that very post with her. Amita, it's very interesting to note that the engagement settings have been changed. Very clearly, they do not want this to snowball into a bigger PR disaster than it appears to have already become.
I think it was an afterthought, Madhav, because the moment that the statement was posted, even I was checking out as far as the replies that are now concerned that have been coming to this very statement that has been released by the Gates Foundation. It seems that they have now stopped people commenting from this post. So what has been that post? It says that after careful consideration and to ensure focus remains on the AI Summit's key priorities, Mr. Gates will not be delivering his keynote address, and the Gates Foundation will be represented by Ankur Vora, the president of the Africa India offices, who will be speaking later today at the summit. And the Gates Foundation remains fully committed to our work, and that will continue as far as when it comes to the philanthropic organization is concerned. But as far as the presence of Mr. Bill Gates is concerned, that has now been confirmed that he will not be there, he will not be participating, and rather he will not be delivering his keynote address. So, Madhav, we can actually call it in a way that it was a government snub, or it was, better sense that prevailed on the Gates Foundation, because it is just literally hours, counting down to hours when he was supposed to speak.
All right, that's very, very significant, in fact, Amita, that we're talking about, Bill Gates pulling out at such a crucial moment. And let me take this across to my colleague Pragya as well. Pragya, the fact that he's not meeting with any of the top ministers, it's an AI summit. One would imagine that he's going to, as somebody who has played such a key role as far as technology and Microsoft is concerned, the world's richest man at one point, and now still amongst the top most in terms of wealth and philanthropy. Not meeting with the health minister, given the fact that he's worked with health so closely, or even the prime minister for that matter. The top leaders of the government very clearly want to keep away from Bill Gates, because this is an international conference. We've seen the kind of impact that a small event, such as a wrong statement made by one university's professor, can have internationally speaking. And certainly when it comes to issues like Epstein, the fallout could be immense if Bill Gates is seen over here at this particular event. So clearly those talks that were on between the government, between Mr. Bill Gates, were on to the last minute, and that appears to have been a last minute decision now to have Mr. Bill Gates pull out. Whether it was a snub that caused him to voluntarily pull out, or whether he was asked to not participate, remains a question at this point of time. Pragya.
Absolutely, Madhav, and one of the top officials in the MeitY, in fact, when we asked him about the Bill Gates, a few days before when this controversy started, he said absolutely no, he will be speaking. So that was the intent of the government. But it looks like that there had been feelers that have been sent to Mr. Bill Gates, and this is why Mr. Bill Gates must have also decided that Microsoft is the company is more important, the entity and is more important than the person, and it should not be mired in controversy. As it is, it has become a global controversy given the fact that there is so much of social media post against Mr. Bill Gates as far as Epstein files are concerned. And this is probably the reason why no minister would want to meet. Remember at one point of time, there was no time that Mr. Bill Gates will come and he will not meet the ministers, he will not meet the prime minister, in fact, and he would also go to the states and meet chief ministers, as he did with Andhra and Maharashtra as well. But look at the BJP ministers, because this is a decision that must have been taken at the top, that there should be no interaction, no meetings as such, because this also, shift the focus from AI summit, which is a very, very big deal for India. In fact, all the more than 20 heads of the states and the leaders have come here, congregated here. The top industry experts are here, and this is a time where India will be writing the code for AI. None of that could be compromised, jeopardized when it comes to this particular summit, and this is probably a very deliberate decision by the government taken. And in fact, the feelers must have been sent to Mr. Bill Gates. Remember what Rishabh was saying, that even last night they were ready to speak, but this is the opportunity that government also did not want to let go, because there is opposition in the country as well. And more than that, this is about also the projecting yourself as someone who believes in the betterment of mankind. But with such charges on someone who is participating in your summit, it also becomes an outrage that can erupt on the global level, and social media, is already on it. So to prevent all of that, to prevent the controversy, what we are given to understand that
Let's shift focus back to the AI